Hello everyone, here we have Rennie again, who is the Director of Facility Operations at the Langley Event Center. Today we're going to talk about the human resource skills and talk about how to interview a potential candidate. Jamie, your coaching of future recreation manager is very much appreciated. Assuming a candidate's resume meet the basic position requirements, what else do you look for in a recreation professional?
Well, we're looking for, if we're just looking at the resume again, we're looking for a variety of experiences. Someone that, has obviously done some homework on the things that they want to do and the goals that they want to accomplish, and they've tried to meet those goals along the way, and you can see that from a resume. Once we get them into the interview and we start putting their resume to task, we want to find out if they're outgoing, want to see people that are happy to be there, enjoy their work. Working in recreation is supposed to be fun, and we want to make sure that we have staff that like to have a good time and at the same time can also get down to task. Looking for people that have a knowledge in our business, looking for a candidate that comes to the facility here and knows a little bit about what we do, as much as they can gather on the website, or maybe talking to employees that we have here or talking to people that we work with. And we're also looking for someone that takes the initiative, someone that can step up to the table and take on something that we hadn't even thought of, and something that makes our business better and makes them better and looked at in a higher profile within our organization.
Now, speaking of the hiring process, how important is culture fit when you're hiring a new employee, and why should managers be conscious of culture fit when hiring?
Well, culture fit is very important. I mean, a lot of time goes into organizations to create a culture that we feel allows everyone to succeed and create a culture that we want the community to see us in. Hiring a new staff person, we want to make sure they are going to be a fit. We don't want new staff to disrupt the culture that's been created. And a lot of times we want staff to be maybe the piece of a puzzle in that culture that adds another dimension to it that can make it a little more attractive. Disrupting a team can be a real challenge and can really throw back the time and the effort and energy that everyone's put into it. So I think that's a very important part, is making sure that their a new employee is going to fit in with the group of people that we have, and is going to be a positive experience for everybody.
So in your past experience, are there any red flags that you watch out for on a resume or during an interview?
I think a couple of the big ones are very choppy work experience, so meaning short-term work experience in a number of different places. In all honesty, I'd be asking that question. Someone's moved around quite a bit, and there could be a valid reason for it, but that's one that would definitely be a red flag. I think also having a gap in work experience. If someone's worked for many years and then had a 2 or 3, a 5-year break, and then back to work again, there may be a valid reason for it, but those are questions that I would ask as to why was there such a gap. Or someone coming to work, looking for a job with us and haven't been working for maybe 3 or 4 years. Again, just a red flag that I would ask the question, what have they been doing? Have they maybe been traveling or family life, whatever the case might be.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any insightful interview stories that you may share with us?
Yeah, I think one that really comes to mind was a recent graduate that came to our interview for a position with myself and our HR coordinator. And, at the start of the interview, the person wasn't really too sure on what job they were interviewing for. They had put out a number of resumes, and they weren't sure exactly what position that they had applied for here. In addition, when we asked them how much they knew about the facility or what they knew about what we did, they really didn't know anything. And that just shows to me that there's not a real interest in the position. This person had obviously sent out a number of resumes, which is a fair thing to do with a student graduating. But at the same time, you have to give the respect to the facility you're going to. You have to do your homework. You have to understand what that facility is about. There's no way I feel a student can answer questions appropriately if they don't know what they're interviewing for or know anything about the facility. So I think that's the biggest thing I could pass along is please do your homework. Check the facility out. Come and visit it before you get an interview. Check out their website, social media. There's so many different options nowadays to get that information quite easily. And so really in the end it was we really didn't give that person any consideration because of the things that happened during the interview.
I couldn't agree more. Now we have graduates graduating from the Bachelor of Recreation Management degree. Do you have any interview advice for them?
Yeah, and I think, like I said before, I think do your homework on where you're going. If you've put out resumes, make sure you know exactly where they've gone. Make sure when you're called for an interview, don't hesitate to ask the question: who's doing the interviews? Is there any expectations that I bring documentation? Is there any expectations that I bring samples of my work? Really understand where you're going and make sure it's a good fit for yourself. Make sure that you've as I said earlier, talk to staff. Talk to the people that work at the facility, even come in and participate in an activity at the facility, come as a spectator to a game or an event to find out if it's really a place that you want to be at.
All right, now we're going to switch the gear. Does your organization conduct regular performance evaluations? Can you explain this process to us?
Yeah, we have a formal performance evaluation that happens yearly where we have a series of questions and rating scale that both the supervisors or managers and the staff complete. So the staff complete one for themselves, and then their supervisor or manager complete one. And we review those yearly. We add comments. We add new goals on there. We review the goals from the past year to make sure they're accomplished in order to ensure that the staff are on track. It's an opportunity for constructive criticism. It's an opportunity for staff to see where they sit in the organization and how well they've really been doing. And it's an opportunity for open and honest comments back and forth. As a director here, I always open the door for staff to comment on how I'm doing or if they need anything more from myself. And at the same time, I'm going to pass on the comments back to the staff person so that they know exactly where they sit in the facility, and if they need to improve, they can work on improving. If they need to stay the course, and they can do that. We also meet weekly with our staff. Each director meets weekly with their staff, and at those weekly meetings, we're reviewing different tasks that are being done. It's more informal than it is the yearly performance appraisal, but it's an opportunity for staff to clearly understand where they're going and what the expectations are of them.
Mm-hmm. Communication and being well informed is indeed very important.
Yes.
Lastly, how would you describe your management style? Do you have any advice with regard to managing employees for future recreation professionals?
My management style is probably considered laid back. I give all opportunities to our staff to complete their tasks. I don't like to micromanage. I think it's important to allow staff to succeed, and at times have some challenges. And I think it's those challenges that really create a better person. It's those challenges that staff then kind of have to think back about what they did and how they can correct it. And I allow them to do that as much as they can. I do allow myself the opportunity to provide some advice to them and provide some direction. But at the same time, I want staff to take on the tasks on their own. And I find a lot of times you can really get a mature student or a student to turn into a mature employee very quickly. And very quickly do they understand the operation and understand the facility if you allow them to take on those challenges and try to find solutions to them.
These are great advice. Do you have any final words of wisdom for our new recreation management graduates?
I think a big one is just get out there. Get out there and be a part of any organizations you can. Visit facilities. My door is always open to any of the students from Langley College that want to come by and have a tour of the facility, want to ask questions about the industry. Just get your name out there, meet the supervisors, meet the managers, talk to the staff in the facilities. And again, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't worry that someone's going to think that you didn't learn enough in Langley or at your 4 or 2-year programs. Ask the questions. It'll just make you a better person.
Well, thank you very much for your sharing and your insights. Again, this is Rennie, the Director of Facility Operations at the Langley Event Center.